remember that when he got hit with the tube light in Delhi, and he started bleeding and everything, and then he was like, okay, the show goes on because we have to finish before daylight comes. That's the fun of action films as well, right?
There are some stunts that are very deadly. I remember in another film, I smashed my knee, had 3 surgeries. I had gangrene in this leg and no one knows about this. They wanted to amputate my leg.
Oh God.
And I was like, no, you can't do that. And thanks to my surgeon, and he saved my knee. I love doing action. Of course, I'll take a break and I'll do something that's different. But I love coming back to action.
Hello everyone, welcome to ETimes. Today we've got the macho man, John Abraham, and his macho director, Lakshya. Hi guys, how are you? Welcome to ETimes.
Thank you.
Thank you.
So, first question guys, would you say Attack is a high concept film? And not just that, does it sort of promise to provide the viewer an experience they would rather, more usually associate with a Hollywood film? Is that the thought, Lakshya?
Yes and no. Like obviously we've seen this genre in Hollywood a lot, alright, but we haven't seen it in India. I wouldn't call it high concept, I would call it different concept, alright, because it is our own version of events that are happening in the world right now. So Hollywood is also taking from real life and we've also taken from real life. So that is where it's amalgamated, but at the same time Attack is truly special because it has something different to say when what the Hollywood guys have done, you know, in that sense. And visually, but we've tried to up our game, alright, visually and storytelling wise, we've tried to say it because we've taken the responsibility of saying a story that is different and for New India, alright, so it's cooler that way.
Okay. John, you agree to this?
Yeah.
Do you have an opinion on this?
Yeah, I think, Rachit, we've tried to make something that's very unique. And I always bring this up because, you know, I need a platform and a springboard to say this from. I think as J Entertainment, we've always provided something that's different. And that, you know, and very honestly, there are films that I've done which were very commercial, where I was offered to be a producer and I said, no, but this is not the grain of J Entertainment. J Entertainment is Vicky Dono, it's Madras Cafe, it's Parmanu, it's Batla House, it's that space. You know, we're producing a Malayalam film called Mike, which is beautiful. We're producing a series in Tamil, which is a web series in Tamil, which is very, very special. So I think, you know, when Lakshya and I spoke about Attack, Lakshya was that profile of a director that, you know, would fit into a J Entertainment philosophy, you know, someone who's young, who's exciting, who's going to tell a different story. And Attack is a very brave and a very honest attempt. So it's our own make in India super soldier. We're not, does he draw inspiration when he sees Marvel and DC? Yeah, of course, they're great films, you know. But this is our take on what the Indian super soldier should be. And I really think more than high concept, it's reality today. I went to Ahmedabad and I went to the robotics center and I saw the exoskeletons that were being made for the Indian Army by the DRDO. And I was like, man, honestly, this film is actually 4 years behind. It's happening. It's happening. This is not even tomorrow. It's yesterday. The audience doesn't know this. So we're presenting this to the audience. A chip in the brain is something that has happened, and you'll see in the credits of the film, the first credit we give is to a guy called Nathan Copeland. So Lakshya had done a lot of video conferencing with Nathan and he explained his experiences of a chip being implanted in his brain, and a guy who's a paraplegic, as we speak today, is walking, moving his hands, doing everything. So it's a thing that's happened. It's not going to happen. It's happened. So I think we're presenting something that's very real, but in a commercial format to our audience.
Right. I mean, when you explain these things, it seems like almost like science fiction. So is that it? Is that the peg over here?
What I'm saying,
it's then the film also where Prakash's dialogue says, you know, these facts are actually happening. You know, like where was the first drone? Where was the first drone scene actually? Alright, it was seen actually in Star Wars before it was made. Alright. So similarly, these things sound science fiction because the audiences haven't seen stuff like that.
Correct.
And it comes in that genre. But that is just an incidental part of the story. The story actually is about a super soldier whose character is the first prototype, who's going to be made something like that. What that means, what it means for him sacrificing for the nation, you know. And around this, we've tried to make his first mission.
Right.
You know, so that is where the place of Attack lands itself. And it's what it is, it's relevant. all right, because we actually believe this will be the system of warfare. Like what happened earlier, guns were made, and you've seen that in a lot of Hindi movies and movies out here, that the British had guns and we had swords. So they took over, they conquered the world because they had guns. Then nuclear came, and America obviously researched, and they became the most powerful superpower.
Right.
Now it's about AI, it's about technology. So whoever conquers this, and we are saying our character in the film has come out with a revolutionary thing, like a Mark Zuckerberg or a Elon Musk. One of them came out, and that person's Indian, and she's the first mover there.
Right.
And now that is going to be the future of warfare, all right, but it's happening in the present day.
Okay.
So it's not a futuristic story, it is a current day story.
Okay, so is this a contemporary action film?
Yes, completely.
It's a contemporary action film which people haven't seen before.
Okay.
So a lot of people ask me one question, and I'm sorry I'm preempting some things, and they said, John, you know, your action's going higher and higher and higher. What's your next level of action going to be? And I just tell them one thing. I said it's not about the moves, it's not about the stunts, it's about the emotion that backs the action, or the concept that you have behind the action. And I'm so glad to tell this to you that Attack has both emotion and concept. So we've got a very taut and a tight script. We've got an Instagram generation director that finds it disrespectful when people look at their phones whilst watching a film.
Okay.
So he's made a film that's so fast, where he says, I don't want my audience to look up, to look down at their phone. So he's made a 1 hour, 45-minute film. Boom, boom, boom.
Okay.
So the first half you set up how this guy becomes a super soldier. The second half is the climax.
And also, you being a filmmaker, I think, weren't you finding it fake when a Bollywood hero was hitting 10 people or 20 or flying?
Of course.
Those characters?
Of course.
Now we're giving the character a reason. Now he's calculating. When you see the trailer, he's calculating the guns, he's calculating where the positions are. He's helped by the artificial intelligence. So he can do that. So you enjoy that more. So it's come into that kind of a zone.
Okay. Filmmaking that's augmented by CGI with VFX, it's always tougher because there's a certain aspect you have to imagine, you have to sort of navigate and play. So as an actor, John, was it a challenge? I mean, you've done your fair share of actual physical stunts. So to do it this way, is it more tough?
It is a very good question, because initially it's kind of strange. When Laksh told me in a particular scene, he's saying, just open the map in front of you. I'm like, what? He's saying, open the map in front of you, John. So I'm like, there's no map. I said, yeah, what am I meant to do? He's saying, no, because I needed a position from him, right? He's saying the map's in front of you, just do this and open the map and look from here, because the passage is moving from here to here. I'm like, okay. So I felt daft at that point of time. I was like, man, but then I understood where he's coming from. I needed to understand whether we're in CG, we're positioning the map here or here. He said it's around here. Just open the map and look at it. Move fast, look at it, move on. So it was initially very different for me, but then when I got into the character and I started playing it, I was only looking at maps all over my head. I was only looking at maps, and Ira in this film, I have a chip inside me called Ira, Intelligent Robot Assistant, that talks to me. Okay. Now Ira's talking to me, right? But in reality, no one's talking to me. So we had to actually get Ira's voice on set talking to me, and I'm listening to Ira, so I'm obviously not looking at anybody.
So for the change, there's no co-actor who's reacting.
I'm,
he has to do
I'm listening to a voice inside myself. So Ira saying, I'm shooting, and Ira saying, bad shot. Did I ask you? So I'm talking to myself. So these little nuances to get it right was...
And it's really tough as a performance-wise also, which I didn't realize, because it's actually my first time also where there's no co-actor. Sometimes a lot of stuff gets hidden between cuts.
Yeah.
All right, and you get in the option in edit to do it.
Of course.
Here I have to only use that. I have to only stay on John saying it and acting and reacting and get that perfect through the whole movie. So it was challenging, but I think it's fun. That's also...
So not only are you looking at Ira, but you're also looking at how I'm reacting to Ira, which is so important. It's quite challenging.
And traditionally, acting is about
playing
off your co-star.
Exactly. That's what I'm saying.
It's about reactions. So this must be crazy.
Yeah, and because you're not dealing with a Jacqueline or a Rakul, you're also dealing with Ira. So you're dealing with 3 co-stars. It's fun. Yeah.
Right. And guys, off late, our action films have made a strong play on patriotism. I mean, that is the mood of the audience.
Yeah.
That's the same with your film as well.
Yeah.
So is that going to be like a strength of this film? Is that one of the USPs of
again, I don't know about other films. I think I am a very patriotic person.
Okay.
And it lended itself to it. This kind of storytelling was something that I'm very proud to be Indian. All right. I also studied abroad, but I came back here to work. All right. So I think it's inherently in me to do that. All right. But I don't know what the other films are doing. All right. This film needed it because it's a national film. It's talking about a country. It's talking about that we have the best soldiers in the world, all right, and we have the best scientists in the world. Have you ever thought of combining them?
Right.
All right, and making a Make in India product? So that's why now I can't do it only if you're the best soldiers in one state or one place. It has to be national, right? If we're talking about soldiers and not police. So it lends itself automatically to that. But it's not jingoism. It's not like, okay, we are going,
Correct.
we are not,
That's
we're
the
not
right word, yeah.
cashing in on the fact that nationalism is working. That's not our position. We're proud to be Indian and we're showing that.
Right.
You know, so that's the difference here.
So in a film like this, how do you not get into the realm of jingoism? How do you sort of make sure you've not gone there?
We just be ourselves, you know.
Yeah, but honestly,
Yeah.
I also feel, and this is what I kept reminding Lakshya, and I said, Lakshya, remember one thing, we're a commercial entertainer. You made an entertaining film. Don't deviate from that. If there are 5, 6 other films that are working on patriotism and jingoism, doesn't mean you go down that road.
True.
You know, and we've not gone down that road. I mean, I've been party to films that are jingoistic or patriotic or whatever people may point and tell me. But Attack is a commercial entertainer. It's a high, I wouldn't say it's a high concept, but it's a very different action entertainer and something that needs to be consumed and enjoyed by an audience that wants to just have their popcorn, have fun, look at the screen and walk out. You're not, my belief is you're not going to stand up at the end of this film and salute. No. You're going to get out and say, wow, what a film. We should support and make more films like this.
To be Indian
Yeah,
as
you
well.
would be.
You'll be proud for
I think
what
more
we've
than
made.
proud, I think the word is, I think you'd find it really cool to be Indian.
Yeah, cool.
You know, it'd be very
Nice.
cool to be Indian. Wow, it's cool to be Indian. Because whenever we watch American films,
Yeah.
we say, man, I want to be a Navy SEAL, I want to be an American soldier, right?
True.
This is the first time you'll feel that about an Indian soldier. The
That they're
first
cool.
time. That it's aspirational to be an Indian soldier if you can look like that and wear clothes like that, behave like that, walk like that, talk like that, and walk out and conquer the world.
Cool. Cool. And I mean, you know, you've sort of preempted this, but you know, just a couple of hours ago, I was watching a clip. It just popped up on my social media. It was Tom Cruise hanging on to that plane in Mission Impossible. He actually pulled that stunt off on a live plane. I mean, I know you're incredibly fit, but you are aging. I mean, you've been here for so many years.
Yeah.
So when you do your own stunts, when Lakshya say, you know, gives you some high concept thing, do you tell him, bro, you know, can we like scale this down? Or are you still sort of, you know, as passionate as you were,
No,
say,
I think
15 years
it's
ago?
the opposite.
It's the opposite?
I'm like, okay, no, you don't have to do this, John. You're not, you know. But he was completely on action clothes. He wants to do everything himself. And we're very well prepped. You know, we have a good action safety team, and we know what we can achieve and can't. So it's in that space that we're trying to capture. And I think there was a time I remember that when he got hit with the tube light in Delhi. And you know, he started bleeding and everything. And then he was like, okay, the show goes on because we have to finish before daylight comes. We have to finish the shoot.
Yeah.
You know, so he's like, quickly finish this and do it. But that's the fun of action films as well, right?
Yeah.
You know, that is the joy of us making these kind of things and do these daredevil stunts. And it's fun. And I think John, actually, I've known him now since 2008. I think the fittest he's ever been. All right.
Yeah,
You know?
yeah, I feel good about myself.
And I've
now.
seen him also do, remember New York where you were climb the 40th floor building?
52 floors.
Yeah,
I
and
came down from the 52nd
yeah.
floor to the base.
And I remember giving clap and he's just like, bye, let me go, going down.
Yeah.
So I've seen him do a lot from there, you know, so it's good.
Right. But John, even the best of athletes like a Ronaldo, Messi, they also, at some point, they think
Of
about
course.
conserving themselves.
Yeah.
So do those thoughts
Yeah,
cross
you
your
need
mind?
to be careful. You need to be careful. You can't have a false sense of bravado to prove to 5 people on a set that you can jump from here to there and get hurt.
Yeah.
So that you become a little more cognizant about. You understand the situation. There are some stunts that are very deadly. I remember in another film, I smashed my knee, had 3 surgeries. I had gangrene in this leg and no one knows about this. They wanted to amputate my leg.
Oh God.
And I was like, no, you can't do that. And thanks to my surgeon in Bombay, and you can ask him, Dr. Rajesh Maniyar, he saved my knee.
How long back was this?
This was during Force 2.
Oh,
You know, so this was, I don't know, maybe about 7, 8, 9 years. No less, I think, 8 years, 7 years back. And it was gone. And I'm walking today, I'm squatting today, and I'm even more flexible and I'm faster than I was then.
right.
So I think it's all part and parcel. And
Yeah.
for me, I love doing action. Of course, I'll take a break and I'll do something that's different, but I love coming back to action.
Right, right.
And your Mission Impossible thing, I remember also because I know Brian Smears, the action director, did that. All right, that plane took off 42 times with 40 people.
Exactly.
First, all right. So there were stunt people who did it a lot of times before Tom Cruise was put on that as well. So there is a safety team, obviously. You know, that's our job actually.
But it's fantastic that he did that. And I remember I did a similar thing, kind of a thing in Dishum where I was hanging out of a chopper.
Oh yeah, I know that scene. Yeah.
I hung out of the chopper, and you can ask Rohit. I was so worried because I love Varun, and I tied Varun to me, so nothing happens to him. So I tied Varun to me, and Varun was hanging out from the other side because I was worried about him. You know, for me, I felt no, I could do this. That's fine, but the boy shouldn't get hurt while doing this. And Rohit came and told me, saying, "John, just look out for Varun because it's scary. You know, first time when the chopper is going like this."
That was Varun's first action film.
Yeah, and Varun did a great job of just hanging in there and doing that.
Right.
But for me, I had to play the role of someone who's going to take over now and make sure everything's fine. So I think it helps. It kind of helped Laksh also to be with someone who's well versed with action or who understands the nuances of it, rather than doing action with someone who's completely clueless about the space.
Right.
So I think, and that's why Attack just seemed like the right film for all of us. We just fit it up. I think John Abrams is the perfect cast for Attack in J Entertainment. If I felt there was a better cast for it, or if I had to add on a cast in a part 2, I mean, my choices would be ranging from Hrithik Roshan to Tiger Shroff to everybody.
Right.
Because they're fantastic and I'd love to see all of them.
Right.
You know, but at this point of time, I think John Abrams are super soldier.
Okay.
It's like you can't take Robbie Downey Jr. out of Iron Man.
Of course.
Can't, like John Abrams is the super soldier, you know. Can't imagine it with anyone else.
Right, right. And now that we've preempted that as well, what are the prospects of we making a film like, say, The Expendables, where all of you action guys come together?
Wow, I don't know whether, I mean, if someone gets something like that, but I'd love to do a film like that. I'd love for everybody to come together. And I feel that's one area, you know, not only in action, but I think in our industry where we lack is unity. You know, we lack unity. And that's something you've got to learn from the South.
Yeah,
They are true, cohesive, and that's fantastic. I'm saying it as a good trait.
Yeah.
And I think we lack that unity. And you know, if I could be a binding factor for everybody coming together, and if they understand, like a lot of young actors tell me that, John, with you, we're not insecure. We feel so happy because you're so collaborative. We know you'll put us before you. If that sense of security comes from being with me, I'd like to be that binding factor for all actors and say, hey, listen, let's do, forget an Ocean's 11, do an Ocean's 20, man. Let all of us come together and have fun. Let's have our parts. Let's just enjoy the process, and let's show the world that we're a collaborative and a cohesive lot.
Right. Great, that's a good thought to end on, and we shall look forward to a film like this in the future.
Yeah,
but for now, best of luck for Attack, guys.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thank you.